Okay, this is the last item I've got from one of my many auction hauls. This is a 110cc Chinese four-wheeler. Really, I should not have bought this. There was no reason to buy this. It was actually between this one and one other. Both were sold as is, non-running, kind of like my Kazuma Falcon was as well. But that one's gone. And the generators I got from the same auction are all gone, and this is all I have left. So, what does it have good going for it? There's not much. All four tires, and maybe that seat. That's probably all that's good on this, besides a few other small incidentals like the front brakes. The engine, I don't know if it's seized or if the starter's bad, but the engine does nothing. Handlebars are bent. Really typical for these. They are bent to the left. The front end is actually tight, surprisingly. There's no excessive play in there, so if I could straighten out those front handlebars, we'd be pretty good. Back brakes are pretty much non-existent. It has the caliper, it has a master cylinder, but there's something going on between the caliper and master cylinder. Probably not worth fixing if I do get this up and running. The wiring is an absolute mess. There's stuff hanging out pretty much everywhere. Basically, I would try my best to try and piece it back together. You can get a new harness, but a new harness wouldn't be worth it for this. Carburetor is probably really, really bad, considering the throttle's actually stuck. It goes, but it has a difficult returning. So, like I said before, front brakes are fine. Cables are fine. Both drums are fine up front, so it'll be just a front brake machine. If I can get this up and running for just the cost of a starter, oil, possibly a battery, and that's it. I'm not going to fix the back brakes. I can hopefully carburetor. If I can get it up and running for just those 3-4 items, we'd be decent here. This bike's not worth very much. I'm not into it for anything, because the profits I made off of everything else more than covered this a couple different times. So I'm not into it for nothing. So it's basically try and fix it. If the engine's seized, get rid of it for parts, because the plastics are not terrible. They're actually in decent enough condition. So big thing is make sure it's not seized. Starter to see if it will start, but I can put a drill on it, see if we can get in spark or anything like that before I go ahead and buy a starter. Battery is way down the list of stuff needed for this. So starter, carburetor, and I know I missed something else in there, and clean up the wiring. But the big thing is seeing if it will run. It does have oil. It actually puked out some of its oil right here. I have oil for an oil change, so, but obviously it needs to be running to be able to change the oil. So, yes, it's definitely a POS hoopty. Will it be saved, or can we save it? We're going to give it a try at least. It's a 110, like I said, only forward. There's no reverse on this. It'd be a good beginner bike for somebody. For a beginner bike. The rear bushings are all good on this one, surprisingly. Everything's tight in the back end. The chains actually spins. Hopefully the clutch isn't bad. That's another thing we've got to think about. So if it needs a clutch, I don't know if I want to dig that deep into it. So yeah, they're not that expensive, but still, is it worth it? So main thing is get it running, or at least getting it turning over, and seeing if the engine is viable or not. So 110 hoopty Chinese kids four-wheeler. we'll give it a try. So talk to them later. Please keep it redneck like always, and please subscribe and comment.